And if you don't involve parents in the process of raising their kids, what are you doing? You're basically hijacking those kids from the parents to the government, and that can't be good for anybody. And when I've seen some of the illicit materials that are being projected to kids 6 years old, 10 to 12 years old, man, it's nobody's business. This is not a thing. And this is one thing I want to say very clearly. This is not about homophobia. This is not about transphobia. This is not about whatever. It's about explicit sexual content in front of kids that don't need to be seeing that stuff.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Whitby, Ontario, and I'm standing outside the Durham District School Board headquarters. And folks, I don't like to say I told you so. What am I saying? I'd love to say I told you so, because last week I told you that the educrats behind these walls are control freaks and censorious thugs. And boy, do we have the evidence. If parents ask an impolite question, they will kill the mic.
Gender ideologies that's causing an epidemic of
Okay, I am going to, I have cut you off because this is longer than the question that you had submitted to be provided.
If the parent refuses to leave, they will be frog marched out the building by either a security guard or police. If there are comments from the cheap seats up in the galleries, well, they end the live stream and take a recess and exit to their so-called safe spaces. So what does a Durham District School Board educrat do for an encore? Well, get a load of this, folks. These tin pot dictators have actually banned parents for the next 2 school board meetings. Yeah, all of these people that are assembled, they're not going to be allowed to go into the building. Why? Well, believe it or not, it's an unsafe situation. No, I'm not making a joke about this. Check out this statement according to Camille Williams-Taylor. She is the Director of Education for the Durham District School Board. Quote, on May 15th, at the most recent meeting of the board, the public was evacuated by security and police. Comments that were yelled out or muttered were heard by some members of the audience, in some cases, or by the whole room in others. Some of these comments were homophobic, transphobic, and hateful. Other comments and behaviors were intimidating and harmful by tone or content. To be clear, the Durham District School Board firmly rejects and condemns this behavior. End quote. Well, folks, first of all, she doesn't give a single example of a homophobic, transphobic, or hateful comment. In fact, some of the parents I spoke with who attended the meeting earlier this month said they heard nothing of the sort. In any event, I think this is beyond being a control freak. This is beyond being a censorious thug. This is downright psychotic. The idea that these highly paid educrats actually think they know what's best for our children, and they are absolutely tone deaf when it comes to hearing what, the actual parents of the children have to say. It is outrageous. It is chutzpah on steroids. In any event, I'm going to wade into this crowd, see why they showed up, because, like I said, they're not going to get into the building, and find out, well, where is Stephen Lecce, Minister of Education? When is he going to finally do something about the Durham District School Board and so many other school boards in Ontario that are driven by wokeness and are, well, they're out of control, really.
Wondering if we can all get entry into the board meeting.
Unfortunately not today.
And why would that be, sir?
The board has closed the meetings.
Okay. And is there any further information on that?
That is all I have.
All right. Are we allowed to then go and protest on the sidewalk
Yes, you are.
about this?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem.
All right. Have a wonderful
Are
day.
they open for requests, freedom of information requests, or is that done during normal business hours?
I believe that's done during normal business hours.
Which are?
Couldn't tell you, sir. I don't
Okay,
know.
I'll check it out on
Yeah,
the website.
by all means, please.
Sir,
Or I can
the
find out for you and tell you.
Sir, the Director of Education said that it's a safety issue to ban parents from the school board. Do you see anybody here that looks like they're going to commit acts of violence?
I do not see anyone. I do not know the reason. All I know is it is closed to the public for right now.
Oh, but that's a public statement, sir. She said it's a safety issue. So
I
could
don't
it be there's a downed electrical wire, a live wire perhaps?
I couldn't tell you, sir.
No.
No.
So what is the safety issue then? I don't understand. These are just concerned parents that are here, and for some reason they're being smeared and vilified as, I don't know, wearing trouble on their shirt, that they're going to get violent. How do you square that?
I couldn't answer that, sir.
Is there somebody that can answer those questions that would be willing to come out?
Not at this time, sir. No.
So if you say it's a safety issue and you can't back that up, I mean, what does that say about the credibility of the Director of Education?
Again, I can't answer that, sir.
Just following orders.
Absolutely.
You're saying that with a lot of zeal.
Yep.
One of the things, Sarah, a lady told me that she's not allowed to display her sign on the property. Why would that be if that's true?
Well, right now you're just asking me questions. If there are signs up, then that's a protest. I'll ask you to move to Taunton Road.
Oh, so if you display a sign, that's officially a protest. Okay. What if it was like, I don't know, the Pride Progress flag or something about trans rights now? Would that be?
I'd ask you to go to Taunton Road.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
What's that?
Even if they're not displaying signs?
The crowd is getting bigger, and I would like you guys to move over to Taunton.
Well, it's a couple of dozen people. It's not exactly the.
I still have the request if you could move over to Taunton Road, please.
And would that be based on what? Safety reasons, I suppose?
Just for my concern, yes.
Are you afraid of any harm coming to
I
you?
would just like you guys now to move over there.
Okay. It just sounds very arbitrary. It's like rules are being made up, sir.
I'm not making a rule. I'm just asking for you guys to move over to Taunton Road, please.
And if they don't move, will they be arrested?
No, they'll just be asked to be moved by police, and then I'll let them take it from there.
Okay. It's kind of like, playing the arrest card, isn't it?
I did not say that, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I bet you'd love to give them a piece of your mind, but, well, your sticker says it all. Silence. You're not even allowed in the building like you're some kind of contaminant or a terrorist or something. How do you feel about being kicked out of a public school board meeting that is funded by you and all these other taxpayers here?
Well, then you said it. It's a public, and we're being silenced, so it's not public anymore. So it seems that they have their own agenda that they're discussing inside, and they don't want the parents to be involved, which is very sad.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
The only thing I can make of it is they don't really care what our opinion is. They don't care about our children. And to be honest, the way even the other media is reporting it is that we're hateful people, we're angry, and it has nothing to do with gay people, has nothing to do with trans people. It has to do with the fact that they won't let us ask questions or ever answer any of our questions.
Sellers, my daughter is part of the Durham School Board. It's wrong. They won't answer questions. They go to recess when you're in there even, and they just won't even look at you. One of them was glaring at us last time over the mask issue, and they just won't answer or anything.
Well, folks, I'm with Mandy, and in a way, Mandy's kind of a trailblazer. You see, back in April, she was already given a trespass notice for that meeting, and well, now, Mandy, I guess the trespass notice is for everybody for this May meeting. What is going on with these control freaks and censorious thugs who comprise the Durham District School Board?
It's ridiculous. At first, you were here when they instigated that we were transphobic groups putting on these protests. And when that didn't work, when we kept coming back with all the counter protesters, they just continued to shut us down. I was escorted from a meeting in April. I was approved a question to ask. And then when I got here, I was told I was not allowed to ask it in person. They were changing the wording. And so I yelled out what the actual question was, and I was escorted out from here. And then on the day of the next meeting, I received an email stating that I had a trespass notice if I was to come on the property or try to enter the meeting, that I would be escorted out by the police, and I forget what the max fine was. And in order to come, I had to secure permission that I could prove. So I'm guessing an email or something, basically of me telling them I won't misbehave, I won't step out of line, I won't hold you accountable in order to come back, which I have not done because they don't answer our questions anyway, and I can raise awareness right from out front.
The main problem is they want to silence parents. What the reality is is the director of education, 4 days after the DDSB meeting, put out a statement saying things happened which shouldn't have happened, and now these are the consequences that parents are no longer involved. The reality is, if hurtful remarks were made, hurtful remarks, homophobic comments, things that were inappropriate, those should have been addressed at the meeting. And I believe all parents would have got up and said, no, you can't make that remark. You can't make that hateful remark. I would have stood up and said, no, you can't make that hateful remark. Many of us, I think, in attendance would have said, you're out of line, or we would have drawn attention from security or DDSB members and said, this person said this hurtful comment or hurtful remark, they shouldn't be here. We never heard any of that. So what doesn't make sense is we understand that there was a disruption, for sure. Parents are concerned, parents are frustrated. They just want answers, and sometimes the answers are vague.
Well, how do you like that, folks? The weather forecast, sunny with a chance of bubbles. You never know who you're going to bump into at a school board demonstration. I'm with Jim Kerr. He is the owner of the famous bubble bus, or to law enforcement, it would be infamous. Jim, what brings you out to this demonstration? This is spectacular. This is a new level in terms of educrats being control freaks and censorious thugs. They have closed the school board meeting to parents. They won't let media indoors either. What's going on?
Well, I can't tell you what's going on, but it shouldn't be. I mean, when you look at parents, the kids are the parents' responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay? It is not the educators and the bureaucrats' responsibility to say that this is the way it should be done. And if you don't involve parents in the process of raising their kids, what are you doing? You're basically hijacking those kids from the parents to the government, and that can't be good for anybody. And when I've seen some of the illicit materials that are being projected to kids 6 years old, to 10 to 12 years old, man, it's nobody's business. This is not a thing. And this is one thing I want to say very clearly. This is not about homophobia. Yeah. This is not about transphobia. Yeah. This is not about whatever. It's about explicit sexual content in front of kids that don't need to be seeing that stuff.
Well, folks, there are so many school boards in Ontario that are out of control. I think Durham District School Board might be the very worst one there is. And wow, that is really saying something. And the thing is, they believe an act of violence is an impolite question, an insensitive statement, and their reaction is to censor the source of that, namely the parents. And if that doesn't work, they will actually ban the parents from going in to the school board headquarters, which, by the way, is completely taxpayer funded by these very individuals out here. It is a disgrace. These people are entitled. They are control freaks. They are censorious thugs. And like I said earlier, I think they're downright psychotic. When is Stephen Lecce, the Minister of Education, going to, act like a Minister of Education, either rein in these out-of-control school boards or dissolve them altogether? We're waiting, Minister Lecce. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Well, folks, I know you count on Rebel News to bring you the other side of the story, and indeed, I don't see any other media here today. I guess this is a big nothing burger for them, concerned parents, concerned about their children. Well, folks, we need your help. If you can kindly go to rebelfieldreports.com, that's rebelfieldreports.com, and if you're able to make a donation, that would be greatly appreciated.